BMO recently did a survey and found that Canadians believe they need $1.7 million to retire. I know, that's a ton of money, and from what I'm seeing online, it has people kind of freaking out. And rightly so. In fact, I was hosting a workshop a few weeks ago, and one of the audience members asked me about it during the Q&A. He said, if that's how much people need to retire, are we all screwed then? Considering another stat from the same survey found that 66% of Canadians only save 10% or less of their income for retirement, I can see his point. Not to mention, data from Statistics Canada found that less than 10% of Canadians aged 55 to 64 have $1 million or more saved up to carry them throughout retirement. Now, I'm not sharing these stats to make you panic. Instead, I want to talk about why passing around a random number like $1.7 million can actually be dangerous. Why? Because it is way too general. How much I need for retirement is different than how much my neighbor needs, my parents need, or you need. Every single Canadian has a unique retirement number based on factors like if they are single or married, where they plan to live, how long they expect to live, if they'll have a paid-off home or will continue to rent, their health, and what their overall lifestyle will look like and cost, and a few other factors. And that's what I want to talk about today. I want to calm everyone down and show you how to figure out how much you need for retirement, not what you think you need. Hey, I'm Jessica, Qualified Associate Financial Planner and best-selling author of Everything But Money, and investing and retirement planning are two of my favorite topics. Now, I have a ton of videos on this channel about investing, so make sure to check them out after this. I also have a full course on investing called Wealth Building Blueprint for Canadians that you can check out as well, link in the description. But I haven't done many videos on retirement specifically, but I get asked about it all the time. So let's dive in. Now, although the first question I usually get is how much do I need to retire? A better question to start with is actually, how much will my life cost in retirement? Now, this may feel like a hard question to answer because retirement may be decades away, but without that answer, it's impossible to know if you need $1 million or $2 million for retirement. So just make the best estimate you can right now, and then over time, as you get older and it becomes more clear what your actual expenses will look like when you're retired, you can make tweaks to your calculation along the way. To help though, this amount should include expenses like your monthly utilities, your rent, your mortgage if you'll still be paying that throughout retirement, property taxes, subscriptions, food, healthcare costs and health insurance, clothing, gifts, personal care and grooming costs, charitable donations, entertainment and hobbies, and any other recurring expense. To give you a visual, let's look at Erica. She's 40 years old, single, owns her own condo, and wants to know if she can retire by 65 and how much money she will need to live until 100. Now, she will be mortgage-free by 65 and plans to continue living in her condo throughout retirement. And when she tallies her expenses, she finds that in today's dollars, she'll need around $40,000 per year after taxes. Now, with all this information, I'm going to input these numbers into my retirement calculator. Now, the one I'm showing you is a specific one I've built for my students in my investing course, so you can only access it inside my course, but there are so many other free ones out there that you can test out that will give you similar results. As you can see, when we factor in a 2% inflation rate, which is a fairly safe inflation rate to go with as it's the Bank of Canada's target rate, and when we want to know what $40,000 per year will be valued at in 25 years, we get $65,637.36. That means that at age 65, she'll need to have a lump sum of money big enough to comfortably pay herself just over $65,000 per year in income. But remember, I said that's how much Erica needs after taxes. She will likely have to pay income tax on most of that income if it predominantly comes from sources like her RRSPs or taxable accounts, as well as payments from the Canada Pension Plan, CPP, Old Age Security, OAS, pensions, and any other sources of taxable income. With that said, don't forget that anything withdrawn from a TFSA is tax-free. So just another reason to utilize your TFSA for retirement savings, because anything you put in there and any growth you earn is completely tax-free. So we need to gross up this amount to account for taxes. To do this and for a conservative estimate of your tax burden, take a look at your current average tax rate and plug that in. Your actual tax rate in retirement will likely be much lower. So her average tax rate is 25%, which makes the gross income she needs to pay for taxes and her cost of living equal $87,516.49 per year. Next, we need to account for any other sources of income outside of her investments. That means CPP, OAS, pensions, GIS, and any other sources of income like rental properties, royalties, and part-time or freelance work. Now, she only expects to earn CPP and OAS in retirement, so looking at the national average right now for CPP, that's $925.35 per month times 12 equals $11,104.20 per year for CPP. For OAS, payments are based on the number of years of residency. Now, if you've had 40 years of residency, you get the maximum. Since she's always been a resident of Canada, she would get the maximum benefit amount, which is currently $743.05 per month, or $8,916.60 per year. Since those amounts are in today's dollars, we need to factor in inflation since CPP and OAS are fully indexed to inflation. So after 25 years, Erica should actually be earning $18,217.62 per year for CPP and $14,628.63 per year for OAS. That's a total of $32,846.24 per year in benefits. Before I move on, just a few points I need to make. First, if Erica waited till age 70 to take CPP, she would earn 42% more in benefits. Similarly, if she waited till age 70 to take OAS, she would earn 36% more in benefits. Delaying your government benefits can be a great way to increase these two forms of fixed income in retirement. Also, for anyone waiting to comment, but CPP probably won't even be around in 25 years, because I know it's coming, just so you know, the last time CPP was audited by the Office of the Chief Actuary, CPP was found to be financially sustainable for the next 75 years. And lastly, don't forget about OAS clawbacks. What this means is if Erica's income surpassed a certain threshold, some or all of her OAS benefits will be clawed back. For example, for income earned in the 2024 tax year and the recovery tax period between July 2025 and June 2026, if you earned an income above $90,997, you would have to repay some of your OAS back at a rate of 15% of the excess. And if you earn $148,451 or more between the ages of 65 and 74, you'll have to repay all of it. So when you're determining what kind of income you may need in retirement or want in retirement, don't forget that receiving a higher income in retirement could mean having some or all of your OAS benefits taken back. So now we need to find the shortfall. We know how much money we need in retirement and how much money we'll receive from government benefits in retirement. So what's the gap we need to fill with our own money? The gap is $54,670.24 per year. Okay, for our last stop, we're going to take that shortfall number, and then we're going to factor in things like future investment returns, inflation, and that money lasting us from 65 to 100, which is 35 years. Now, assuming we have an inflation-adjusted return of 3%, so 5% return minus 2% for inflation, we'd arrive at our nest egg number, which is $1,174,711.51. That is how much Erica needs saved up inside her RRSP, her TFSA, her taxable accounts to have enough money to survive 35 years of retirement and not run out of money. Now, if you want to do similar calculations yourself, some easy-to-use calculators include Sun Life and Wealthsimple. I put them in the description, you can check them out. I put in the same data and got very similar results. Sun Life's calculator was a bit lower at $1,096,356. Wealthsimple's was even lower at $974,000. Now, the reason these calculators are giving slightly different results is because they may be using different amounts for inflation, CPP and OAS, and investment return numbers. But this is a very simple calculation nonetheless. It doesn't take into account other factors like specific withdrawal strategies to minimize taxes, a future inheritance or windfall, or just any changes that may occur along the way. Now, if you really want to get into the weeds with this, that's where more powerful software would be needed. For example, as a financial planner, I use Snap Projections. However, for non-planners, you may be interested in checking out Advice, which you can access for $9 per month. You can do more robust projections on your own with it, so make sure to check it out. But if you're not interested in learning some new software and you are looking for specific advice on how much you need for retirement, how much you should be saving to reach that goal, how early you can retire based on what you've already saved and what you are hoping you can continue to save, and whether it makes sense to delay CPP and OAS to age 70 to increase your benefits, that's where I'd recommend working with an advice-only financial planner to help you get some clarity. Now, as I mentioned in a previous video, I have started accepting a few new financial planning clients every month. So if you're interested in working with me, you can learn more about that at jessicamoorhouse.com/services. But I also have a list of other great financial planners on my website under favorite things. You can check them out too. Again, linked everything in the description. Now, I know retirement feels like a massive, scary mountain, but you don't have to climb it in the dark. Knowledge provides the light, so the more you know about your financial situation and the sooner you start crunching your numbers, the less worried you'll be. With that said, if you haven't started saving for retirement, or maybe you've started but you're just not sure how much you need, or if you're currently on track, take this as your sign to do something about it. Do your own calculations, work with a planner, sign up to your workplace's pension or group RRSP, and learn more about investing. If it's something you know you should be doing, but you just keep on making excuses for not doing, this is your sign. And let me know what's on your mind in the comments. Always happy to answer questions and keep the conversation going. Now, if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. But with that, hope you learned something, and I'll see you in my next video.